What's up, guys? It's Roberto from Drew Media.
What's up, guys? Tommy Kentner from TK Auto Works, and welcome to the podcast.
This time we're going to talk about Subaru maintenance.
Yep. And guys, mainly this comes from, we've had a couple cars in this week, and out of the 3 cars, none of the heads or anything were usable. So I kind of want to give you some tips to keep your Subaru on the road and tell you more about like the maintenance and oils to use and try to like really a deep dive into keeping your Subaru on the road. And guys, if you do like this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit a like, and then if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. But first tip to keeping your Subaru on the road is, what do you think that is, Roberto?
In my opinion, I think it's freaking oil changes.
Yeah.
Obviously, oil quality matters a lot, but I would almost rather have a lesser oil and do it more often than having a better oil and keeping it for like these crazy numbers that you're hearing now.
Yeah.
I think the issue is that people are messing up where they're having like a dealership tell them that they can go 10,000 miles on an oil change. Guys, like, understand that their business is to charge you for another motor.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know that these days $150 oil change sounds like a lot of money.
$200 oil change.
That's a whole lot cheaper than changing a whole engine.
No, and I agree. Well, and you can do it yourself.
And my whole thing is like, oil is cheap. An engine is not.
Yes.
Just change that as often as honestly, as often as you can. Like, if you could change it every 2,000 miles, you're not really going to hurt anything other than just having clean oil.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, a lot of misconceptions, especially with the Subarus, is they consume oil. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you go on a 10-hour trip, and that happens a lot here, where they ran down we're in Tennessee, but they ran down to Florida, you know, drove around there for a week and then drove back and then, you know, went to work, you know, midweek, and it's starting to rod knock, but you get it in here, you pull the dipstick, and it's like there's nothing on the dipstick. So
I would say every time you go somewhere, this is not like a Honda or Toyota, they can just grab one and go.
Because
I mean, it is what it is, but as long as you do put that oil and like you make sure all the fluids are there, you're not going to have an issue.
Yeah, and I mean, our technician's dad, Adrian, Adrian's dad, his Subaru, I originally programmed it with 105,000 miles on it, and then he's made it all the way to like 330,000 miles.
So it went from stock to 105,000 miles. Then it got a few bolt-ons.
Yeah.
What power level? Like 3 something?
Probably 330, 360.
You hit that for 100,000 miles, basically. More,
200.
And then he finally had to change the motor.
Yeah.
So like I would say that, you know, he got his money's worth, and the reason why he did that is, first of all, because he's on soil. Yeah. And he did it frequently. Yeah.
And then also I'd recommend, if your car's stock, you can stay with the 530. Mm-hmm. If it's full bolt-on, we usually go to a 1040 premium AMSOIL. And
that's another thing. The viscosity of the oil can make a big difference on the oil, on the engine age.
Yep. Yeah. But the main thing is get in the habit of checking your oil like every 2 weeks on your day off, is what I tell customers. And then like if you do have a failure, just make sure if you hear any faint hint of like rod knock or anything, just don't start the car anymore after that. Just because
it's a big one, actually. That like a lot of the times it could have been a very easy fix.
Yes.
And then because you didn't stop it right away, you kept going 3x's more to kind of get where you needed to go.
Right.
Then it's like a total on the engine.
Because we had 3 cars in this week, and all 3 of them needed heads, and the one guy was doing like 8,000 mile oil changes, and the other guy, like, well, I don't know the situations with those because they just showed up, but all 3 heads were trash. So
I would almost go as far as saying, if you hear something that there's wrong with your engine, stop into, like, obviously don't do it on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But, like, stop it like at the closest gas station or whatever, and call a tow truck, because whatever they charge you is going to be cheaper than all the labor.
Well,
And the time is going to take, like, a lot of time to get you back on the road.
Those cars could have already been in and out. Now we're waiting on new heads, and then new heads. I mean,
that just complicates the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you could have your own heads and then just change the block, that's easy.
Yeah. Usually if we R&R, do a full R&R, and we just refresh your heads, like, I mean, it's like almost probably $14,000. And then if you add heads into the equation, that's another like $4,500. So I mean,
it went from like 15 to 20. Like,
yeah.
That goes higher. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, at that you got to replace all 4 cams. You got to replace your AVCS gears. So it adds up quick, because and the head blanks, and then we got to take everything out of your other head to use in the new heads. And then say if you done had like if somebody's already been in there before and they decked your old heads, and now you got to get new valves because they're not long enough for the new heads.
Right, because there's only so much material you can take off the bottom of that head, or even of a block, before you start having issues. You don't want to rebuild it 20 times. Like, that's not good.
No, so we're just trying to do this to save you money, educate on your Subaru, and
also the other fluids. Make sure. It's not really related, but make sure your brake fluid looks clean. Make sure your coolant it's up to level. That you're using the right color.
Yes.
Because there's some that is supposed to be for Asian cars, some that is supposed to be for European cars, some is supposed to be for American cars, and I've actually seen things where that can damage like a radiator if it's not designed for that when it goes through the head, like all kinds of stuff. So just get your right coolant.
Yeah, and then it's blue.
Right,
for Subarus.
Yeah, same for Hondas, so, and whatever.
If you own a Subaru and you got another color besides the blue in there,
I would flush that out immediately. Yeah, and that's a big thing actually. Like a good tell if you're gonna buy a Subaru, like kind of make sure all the fluids are good, and like if they have a different color coolant. Like I might want to actually back out from that, because it kind of tells me that they didn't really know what they were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Another thing, and this one it's a maintenance thing that sucks. But on Subarus, but spark plugs. Get your spark plugs changed. Every what would you say, 20, 30,000 miles, something like that.
I mean, maybe 60.
60?
Yeah.
I just like as much performance as possible. Like they kind of start dying out, supposedly. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, 60's probably 40 to 60 should be fine. I don't think you need to do them every 20.
But just it's just like whatever engine that you're going. The main thing is like oil. Like make sure your fluids are there. Make sure you're using a decent gas, and as long as you have good spark, good electricity going through it, that's gonna start right up. And these are basic things, and I think a lot of people only focus on the big stuff, big turbos, exhaust, and all that stuff.
And I don't think these cars have a lot of failures for what you read on the internet. I would say out of the motors, all the years we've been in business, we've only legitimately seen maybe 3 head gasket failures, and we've only seen two oil pickup failures that broke on low mile STIs 60,000. That just the pickup tube broke in the corner, which like I said, I know that's killer bees thing, but I've only seen 2 of them, so it's not a crazy head gasket problems. I would say 98% of the ones that come through here we pull the dipstick and it doesn't have a drop of oil on it. So it's at least three quarts of oil, down on that motor. And so all your heat or all the lubrication is just not there, and you're gonna have a failure. So
I would go as far as say that if you drive a Subaru, especially one that's modified or one that has a lot of miles, you pretty much have to have like a little bucket on the trunk with like a few little fluids. It's just good to have an extra quart of oil there, like a little thing of coolant or whatever, in case something goes wrong. You can always, like, even if you're leaking oil, but if you're putting more oil, like, you can always make it to where you're going. Like, that's something people don't think about.
Yeah, and also,
but if you don't have any oil, that's the issue.
And also understand that oil drives like your ABCS gears and stuff like that. And so the longer you're prolonging your oil change, that stuff gets heated up inside there. And then now when you're low on oil pressure, it can't advance it or retard that cam as much, and it's kind of getting cloggy oil.
Yeah, it's just getting that like slushy gear build up, and it from not changing them often.
Yeah, because on the new FA cars, you'll get a cam correlation code because the oil's so dirty. And then that way, I'll just tell them just to do like 3 quick oil changes and it goes away. So
that's good.
Yeah. So like I said, oil's the life of your Subaru. So good oiling system. If you do a built motor, I just recommend the OEM oil pump. We've never had any issues with them, and you can do that JDM like 12 millimeter.
Yeah, I think the things that I've read supposedly it makes a difference, and it's like, if you're already buying that, you might as well.
I mean, simple
but there's nothing
upgrade,
wrong with the
and then just go ahead and do a bigger pan, because more oil never hurts anything. And,
that's a big one.
And then, like I said, just build you a really good foundation, or if you've got the car in the current like stock form, you could still just put a better oil pickup and all that. And then I would actually say stay away from some of these AOSs, because a lot of them return like milky oil back into your PVC. And I mean, so we've had a lot of those with the AOSs that's put on.
You got to be careful, because like that's one of those things, like you were trying to take care of something and you actually made it worse.
And that is true. So I would just recommend putting just a catch can system on it, and then you want to vent both cylinders, kind of like it's 2 motors, because a lot of the, like I said, the Street Series like AOSs that just
only do one side.
Well, no, it's just where it returns it. They haven't figured out how to keep condensation out of the can. So that condensation, and then when we rip them apart on the back bearing, you'll see just like bad milkshake or chocolate milkshake right there on the number 4 bearing, and that's what failed, because water and oil doesn't mix. Right. So
the Subarus mix them. Like, that's that meme.
But like I said, guys, that's just, we're trying to get the information out there to you to keep your Subaru alive, and just good maintenance tips. Stay on top of the oil, and don't shoot for, like, especially if you're stock. I mean, I would say don't take it over 360 horse, and it shouldn't. It should last as long as you want it to last until you're ready to build it. Right. But yeah.
Often oil changes.
Yep.
Quality oil.
Oil changes, 3K.
Ideally, Ames oil.
Ideally, yes. It's literally what we've had the best results out of. My car's on it. It's making, Betty White is making, north of 700, and it's been together for 5 years. So, and I daily drive it during the summer. It gets stored in the winter, but like I said, I just don't. Well, it's a nice 30-year-old car at this point. Blobeyes are hard to come by, so I like to keep it nice. Yeah. But guys, if you do have any questions, drop a comment below, and hit us up. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, and let us know if you need any more maintenance tips, and we'll catch you in the next podcast.
Peace.
Peace.